Hey everyone, story time with Elvin. Just thought I'd recite and then just talk about this poem I just discovered that I have really enjoyed. I must have read it maybe 30 times over the last few days. It's called Spring and Fall to a Young Child by the unfortunately not too well known 19th century poet Gerard Hopkins. I have it in this really nice edition from Oxford. Okay, here we go. Spring and Fall to a Young Child. Margaret, are you grieving over Goldengrove unleaving leaves? Like the things of man, you with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? Ah, as the heart grows older, it'll come to such sights colder. By and by, no spare a sigh, though worlds of wanwood leafmeal lie. And yet you will weep, and know why. Now no matter, child, the name, sorrow springs are the same. Nor mouth had, no nor mind expressed, what heart heard of, ghost guessed. It is the blight man was born for. It is Margaret you mourn for. Now, this was a difficult poem for me. I probably had to read it 5 times, if not maybe more, until I felt like I really started to understand what it was about. Broadly speaking, it reminds me of the Stoic maxim, memento mori, translates to remember you will die. And I think it's really the realization of birth and death, or as the poem says, spring and fall. And if we take it bit by bit, line by line, I think what made it hard for me is this kind of archaic speak with certain phrases like over Goldengrove unleaving or wanwood leafmeal lie. And I really had to sift it out and read those lines over again and just try to process what it was about, try to relate it back to spring and fall. And I discovered that if we're viewing it from the perspective of Margaret, I'm just going to kind of reread it again and just sort of go with it bit by bit. So, Margaret, are you grieving over Goldengrove unleaving? Leaves like the things of man, you with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? So here I think of this girl, Margaret, crying over seeing these beautiful leaves dying, like Goldengrove unleaving. Groves like trees, golden, the beautiful fall leaves. And then she's grieves for them as she sees them fall and decay and die. Leaves like the things of man, you with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? You know, she's young, sees this, pities it, is saddened by the death of the leaves. But, as the heart grows older, it'll come to such sights colder. By and by, nor spare a sigh, though worlds of wanwood leafmeal lie. But as you age and get older, your heart, as it says here, grows colder and you start to not care about things as much. You just sort of allow, you see maybe a homeless guy on the street, you go, oh yeah, well, you know, he's homeless, that's okay. Or you just become so blocked off and barricaded by the vicissitudes of life that you grow hardened and more indifferent of the passing of time, though worlds of wanwood leafmeal lie. Now I think what that means is, though in your lifetime even more and more leaves upon leaves will die. You know, what made you weep seeing just a few leaves fall as a child? As you get older, you'll see leafmeal lie, wanwood, like the waning woods. You'll just see infinite amount more leaves as the years progress. You know, when I'm 6, you know, how many leaves did Margaret see as a child dying? First, when she's 30, you know, just millions of leaves. But at that stage, you think it would affect you more, but it does the reverse, affects you less. And yet you will weep and know why. And once again, I think this is the acknowledgement of the horrors of time. There's nothing we can do about it. It's just as an endless train to the grave. So, to continue here, now no matter, child, the name, sorrow springs are the same. Nor mouth had, no nor mind expressed, what heart heard of, ghost guessed. So, no matter how it goes by, the acknowledgement and realization of your own mortality, that what is beautiful is prone to entropy like everything else. You know, a beautiful youth fades into age. All these kind of things, and that's what I think of no matter what it goes by, or not even if you can express it with words. I don't think I'm doing that best of a job. Nor mouth had, no nor mind expressed, what heart heard of, ghost guessed. I think ghosts here would talk about your soul, your spirit. You might not be able to conceptualize it with words, but your heart knows deep down that This is a finite life we have. It's fleeting, just like the leaf. Just like the birth of spring, only to decay and die in winter. And that starts with fall, the falling of the leaves. And then the last little bit. It is the blight man was born for. It is Margaret you mourn for. So once again, I think that really caps off the idea that you're born to die. The realization as a child when you see the cycle of death in action, when you experience the joys of spring and then see the death of fall and winter, the cyclical nature of it. And then the last line, it is Margaret you mourn for. I thought that was interesting because it starts with Margaret, are you grieving over Goldengrove unleaving? Ends with, it is Margaret you mourn for. And I think that, to me, I thought of, it's her weeping for her own self, for her lost youth, or to weep for the realization that, there's nothing you can do about it. The beautiful times of the past are gone. Maybe you'll have more in the future, but you're alive now. I sometimes even think with myself, I sometimes wish I was 10 again. I would love to be 10 years old playing Zelda on N64, but I'm not. Here I am reading a poem to a camera that I'm going to upload on social media that will mean almost nothing to almost everyone. But I thought the poem was very wonderful still. And like I said, it struck me, I'm not sure what was his intent, but surreptitiously struck me as the Stoic maxim, memento mori, remember you will die. But with this caveat, I love that phrase, remember you will die. It sounds depressing, but in the Stoic school, it is a very powerful thought, a call to action, to know that life is finite, so to make it count now, and to do as much as you can what you desire, to live with passion and purpose and meaning. I'm not sure this poem, however, brings up that concept. I think here with the spring and fall, the cyclical nature of life, Margaret grieving of it, and mourning for herself, it's not to me, didn't come across as a positive poem, though it still reminded me of that phrase. But I think that's perhaps a nice yin and yang to it, the spring and fall, life and death, all these things, young, old. I really like these dual natures of it. And even the fact that, to me, memento mori, I view that in a positive life. Or positive light. I think it was really nice for me to read a poem that has that same reflection, but through a more negative lens, or at least what I viewed as a more negative telling of it. But it's so beautiful, and I think there's a lot of power in a poem when you read it out loud and hear the beauty of the words through your own mouth. It's a very cerebral experience just to read it for your own self, but to say it out loud, it gives it almost a life. So I'll read it one more time, and yeah, hope you enjoy it. Once again, Spring and Fall to a Young Child by Gerard Hopkins. Margaret, are you grieving over Goldengrove unleaving? Leaves like the things of man. You with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? Ah, as heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder. By and by, nor spare a sigh, though worlds of wanwood leafmeal lie, and yet you will weep and know why. Now, no matter, child, the name, sorrow springs are the same. Nor mouth had, no nor mind expressed, what heart heard of, ghost guessed. It is a blight man was born for. It is Margaret you mourn for. Thanks, everybody. Peace out.